What's going on, everybody? Welcome to This Is The Shoot. Now, as always, I start every video. If you like the content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you always get it up to date whenever I drop new content. Also, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below whether you agree, disagree, or have any other questions about the wrestling business. And I will get back to you and answer you as honestly and the best that I can. AKS asked me to make a video talking about MJF and his 2024 contract, which is the year that it expires with AEW. And it has been making waves throughout the world of wrestling, especially in the AEW world. Now, this all really started to come and heat up back when at the Love of Wrestling convention in the UK. There were some rumors going around that MJF and Tony Khan had a heated discussion, which I'll get into that. But here's what MJF said at this convention, and I quote, "I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but on January 1st, 2024, I'm going to be a free agent. Who here wants to see me in WWE?" So let me explain something to you people. I didn't get in this business to make any of you happy. I got into this business to make as much money as humanly possible. And if Vincent Kennedy McMahon is willing to shout out more money than my good friend Tony Khan, then yes, I would go to the WWE. End of quote. Now, it's important to remember here, MJF stays in character at all times. Okay? MJF is going to give these answers from a heel perspective because he doesn't break his character. And if he does, it's on very rare occasions. So it's about looking at the truths that he's saying behind the character and the words of what he says for his character purposes. So this is when things really started heating up about whether or not is MJF really going to go to the WWE. Now, on May 4th, he would actually address it live on AEW Dynamite just to skim over it a little bit. There's going to be a lot of quotes in this video before I get to my opinions. So if you want to get my opinion on the matter, you're going to have to wait till the end of the video. Now, here's what he says in his promo on AEW Dynamite. Guys, you don't want me to talk about 2024? That's funny. Neither does a guy in the back. MJF also added, "Don't worry about it." Now, the guy in the back meaning Tony Khan. He didn't say Tony Khan's name, but we all know who he was talking about here. Now, this is all because of the feud of him and Wardlow. And, you know, AKS, in your comment you asked, do I believe that that AEW, Tony Khan and the company is burying MJF? I don't believe that's going to be the case. As a matter of fact, I want you to think about when JBL and Shawn Michaels had their little rivalry going, and Shawn Michaels lost the match, so he became JBL's manservant, his butler, his slave, whatever you want to call it, whatever terminology. I believe that's what's going to happen here with Wardlow. I believe Shawn Spears is going to cost Wardlow the match against MJF here at Double or Nothing. And I believe we're going, and since MJF still has his contract, because remember the stipulation is, hey, Wardlow, you win, you get out of your contract. So I don't think Wardlow's going to get out of his contract. I think what's going to happen is MJF gets the victory, and then he's going to use and abuse Wardlow to do his bidding unwillingly. That's what I believe is going to happen here. I could be wrong, but I don't see Tony Khan or AEW at this moment burying MJF. But if you have seen my videos in the past about Tony Khan, he's just the type of person who's petty enough to do it. Okay? So as time goes on, it'll be very interesting to see how MJF is booked and how MJF is treated as a talent by AEW. But what really set this off this year was MJF did an interview on the Ariel Helwani show. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Now, he did this without consulting anybody from AEW, from relations, to set up this interview. He did this on his own. He went on the show on his own. And him and Tony Khan that's when the heated argument came. That's when it got heated in the back. That's when I believe that, that's why MJF became very vocal about his contract. Now, here's how this interview started, with MJF talking about Cody Rhodes. And I quote, "I wish him the best of luck. I really do," MJF said on the Ariel Helwani show. Back to the quote. "He makes a boatload of money, Have we had our issues in the past? Absolutely. Do I love him as a human being? Maybe, maybe not. But I respect him as a businessman. Look, this is the same guy who I whipped several times, and as his wife watched as I whipped him several times, as I watched his wife cry and weep. I'm not saying we're buddies. I'm not saying I like the guy. But what I am saying is that I respect what he's doing as a businessman. And quite frankly, by 2024, if people have an issue with me leaving to go and make real money, then me and him are going to be fighting in the exact same island." Woo! When he says making real money. Wow. Talk about throwing AEW and Tony Khan under the bus. On this same show, he goes on, and I quote, "So when you're as talented, as over, and as much of a draw as me, if I want to, I can bite off Tony Khan's fingers. He knows where his bread and butter is. And if this offends somebody in the locker room, which I know it does, oh well, cry about it. Get more over than me. Oh wait, that's right, you can't, because I am literally the best talker in the business and one of the best wrestlers in history of this business, bell to bell." This is very interesting. This is what made Tony Khan mad, because one, MJF did this without ever consulting AEW's relations to set this up. Okay, obviously he didn't do it with Tony Khan's permission or blessing. He did this on his own. And what he says here, when he's talking about making real money, when he's saying, hey, somebody, if people's got a problem with it, oh well, cry about it. And he's also challenging people in the locker room, hey, get more over than me. Be more talented than I am. When he's talking about being the best wrestler in history of this business, bell to bell, I believe he's one of the best storytellers in the ring. He doesn't do a lot. It's not a spot fest match. It's not a Young Bucks match. But he does a great job at telling a story. And remember, some of these things of which, has been quoted, he's staying in character. It's about picking out the little things that stand out to me. When he says if it offends somebody in the locker room, which I know it does, well, cry about it. When he goes back and he says, if people have an issue with me leaving to go make real money, then me and him are going to be fighting in the exact same island. So he's obviously not happy with the money that he's making. He wants to be making Vince McMahon money, Cody Rhodes money. It also quoted here that both men, Khan and MJF, after the interview, they got pretty heated. Now, Dave Meltzer did say everything is settled between MJF and Tony Khan. Now, MJF did this interview back on March 26th, 2022. So that's really when the rumors started to spread. And I got one more quote here before I give you my opinion. Who here would want to see me in the WWE? That is back at the convention. Now, Steel Chair Magazine said this: although AEW runs deep in him, he is a businessman and will listen to whatever offer comes his way. Do I believe that when his contract is up, if AEW offers him a contract and WWE offers him a contract, is MJF going to sign with WWE? Absolutely, yes, I do. MJF has said in the past, back in 2019, I do believe, or 2020, on his Twitter. I couldn't find the quote, but if somebody can find it, or if I find it here in the future, he mentions that, hey, he'll go to WWE. I think that's always been his dream, is to go to the WWE. That's one reason. Another reason is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes and him are some of his best. Cody Rhodes and MJF, they're pretty close friends outside of the kayfabe or whatever you want to call it. They are pretty good friends. And Cody Rhodes is the reason why MJF got a job at AEW in the first place. So you don't think that Cody Rhodes ain't going to pull some strings to get MJF over to the WWE? And other guys probably he'll coming soon. Then you're out your ever-loving mind. I believe WWE will want MJF, if for any other reason, just to get him away from Tony Khan. The first punch, the first blow to AEW was losing Cody Rhodes, and they booked him tremendously. And anybody who wants to argue with me on that one, I can, we're all entitled to our opinion. I'd like to hear why you think that they haven't booked him correctly. But I believe that they have booked him correctly. And another reason, more money. I don't care how rich Tony Khan's father is, because let's face it, Tony Khan's, most of his money comes from his daddy. Vince McMahon has got more money, and Vince McMahon can make better offers. But I am a little worried if he goes to WWE. He won't be able to be totally himself, which is why he's gotten over in AEW. He won't be able to come out there and cut promos about, people's mothers being on drugs, or kicking babies, or doing the things in which he's saying to get heat. And his size. He's 5'11", 216 pounds. He's not this big brute. He's not short by any means, but he's not super tall, and he's not super big. So I am worried about them two things. So for AKS, if you made it to the end of the video, whoever else is at the end of the video, quite honestly, MJF is probably going to leave AEW in 2024. He probably won't leave on good terms. Like I said, go check out my videos about Tony Khan. And I got more Tony Khan videos coming. But Tony Khan, a little bit of a baby when it comes to when he gets questioned or challenged. That may be harsh words. You may look at that and go, how can you say that about somebody? Well, go look it up for yourself. He don't have a very good track record of being challenged. But that all being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. AKS, I hope I answered your questions. And if you guys have any other videos that you want to request, drop them in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys later.